Perfect, perfect. So my name's Winnie Rogers. I'm part of Keller Williams Young Professionals. I was a National Board of Advisors member, but we are having our annual KWYP Young Professionals Summit is actually being held in Chicago this year. I think it's May 29th and 30th. So if that is something that anybody is interested in, definitely look that up. Because we always have just like incredible speakers there. And then um, yeah, so that is one thing. It's 40 and under, but I'm 42. They just let me stay in because I started when I was 37. So even if you're 37, like go for it. Like it's fine. It's also young at heart. Come on, let's be honest.
Can I ask a question?
Um, yes.
Since you mentioned young professionals, I think we all received the email actually for registration. I thought it's only Illinois, Chicago area group. So it's going to be the whole like a national event?
Yes. Yeah, so KWYP is a national group. Um, so yep, it is a national group.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. Um, So let's see. Before I begin, a couple of housekeeping rules. I am going to ask you guys some random questions. Feel free to chat in the box. Depending on how chatty everybody is, it might be that we unmute or mute ourselves back. I don't mind the chaos of a little bit of like talking over each other. I know it's kind of annoying sometimes, but I also think like energy is everything, especially because we have 2 hours together and it's going to be really important to keep it up. And I have my water, I have my iced coffee, I'm ready to go. And it's really important to hear from you guys. So we will be using the hand raise option, the heart option, the thumbs up option, all of those things in Zoom. So if you know how to use those, please recognize that if you do raise your hand, I will call on you in order that they're received, all that kind of stuff. And then at about 7 o'clock, we're going to have a little bit of a break. I'm going to give you some homework to do during that time period. It's going to be super easy. And then also I have a quick form that I'm going to ask you guys to fill out during that time. And then we'll finalize the rest. We'll go into part two of the night, and then we'll go ahead and finish up by 8 o'clock. You might notice, depending on timing, that I might start to speed up. I might start to slow down. That's called classroom management, and I'm just going to rock along with it. So I might let you know, hey, we got to pop through this and just, because I do want to make sure that I'm delivering all of the content for you guys. So those are my little bit of housekeeping. Can I get some thumbs up if everybody's got me? We're in check on that. Cool. The last little thing is please, if you can have your camera on, I don't care if you're eating. I don't care if you're in your pajamas. I have my joggers on right now. I have a cute top, but like, let's be honest, I'm wearing sweatpants, right? So like, if you can have your camera on, it will make me feel like I'm like just more engaged. Like I'm such an energy person. Is anybody else an energy person on the call? Yes. Energy is everything. And so it's really important for me to keep up the energy and you guys help to feed that. Oh, Kathleen, I just like see your smile and it makes me happy. So thank you for putting that on. Um, okay. I think that's it for housekeeping. So thank you guys for putting your cameras on, all that good stuff. You guys are beautiful, perfect, amazing, and I appreciate it. Um, Before we get started, I'm just going to share a teeny bit about me. My name is Winnie Rogers. I am in Charleston, South Carolina. Yes, I love referrals, all that kind of good stuff. I'm an agent first and foremost, but I'm also a Keller Williams University certified instructor, as I believe almost all of your instructors are, or at least they're working towards that certification. The next step in that process is called Master Faculty. Just know that that is part of my initiative going forward. It'll likely be a 2026 goal because I hear that you fail it the first time every time, and I haven't taken it yet. So I'm just like prepping myself to fail the first time, even though I don't like that. But that's one of the pieces of homework that I will ask you to do is to give me an evaluation. So that'll be about halfway. Um, and then, so in addition to that, I also actually recruit for our local offices in Charleston. So I'm part of our leadership team. So I kind of have like a baby leadership role, which is perfect for me. Ooh, Girls Weekend in Charleston. Text me, I'll tell you where to go. Um, So part of that means that I talk to new agents. It's a huge reason why Ignite, I'm so passionate about Ignite because I'm talking to new agents all the time. And it's why I started down the faculty track was because like Ignite changed my world. So whenever I first got licensed in real estate was 2018. So it's actually, believe it or not, it's kind of similar to the market that we're in right now. I actually had to negotiate. Houses actually sat on the market for, a day or a month or 3 months. Like that's like this market now was what I came into. So I'm excited for you guys because this is actually going to make you guys stronger whenever we are in a very real estate robust market again because you guys are going to actually learn how to negotiate, learn how to serve your clients at the highest level, learn how to stand out from the crowd. Because at one point, you could just throw something and get something under contract, right? So you guys are actually going to learn far superior skills to help create sustainability in your business going forward. So I'm excited for you for that. Now, when I first got licensed in 2018, I was with a boutique brokerage. And yes, I'm using air quotes for that because all it meant was that there wasn't a lot of resources. So whenever it was about 10 months in, and I sold some houses, don't get me wrong, and that Rainmaker, that team bought leads. So is anybody here familiar that you can buy leads or you can earn leads, right? So in that environment, she bought leads. When I came over to Keller Williams, I took Ignite. I did exactly what you guys are doing. Hurrah. And and during that, I learned that you didn't necessarily have to buy leads, that was one of your lead generation funnels. So the good news, and for me, so that was in 2019, whenever I came over to Keller Williams, and I have not bought a lead since. I'm not saying that you don't have to. I think that it's a super strong strategy to kind of like softly, slowly feed yourself leads after you have money. Profit first, we lead with money. But just know that I love that there's so many different ways to build this business that feel in alignment, in integrity, and are very balanced for like my lifestyle. And I hope that you guys are going to find that here too. So today we're talking about how to keep every lead. And like, I never even saw the movie Brokeback Mountain, but I know that quote, like, you can't quit me, is from that movie. And that's what I think about every single client or lead that comes into my world is like, they're never quitting me. I'm theirs forever. They're mine forever. Like it just is how it is. Unless they're just like rude and then they're blacklisted and then it's totally fine. Just know that that happens sometimes. So we're going to talk about how to keep every lead in the first place. So basically like absorb them into your web, so to speak. And then we're going to talk about how to follow up with leads. So we're going to talk about it in a few different ways that you can do that. And then just know that there's also going to be, of course, the tech piece that a different instructor is going to go into. Okay, but we're going to talk more of the conceptual pieces today. And I'll absolutely give you guys some of my real life examples as a sphere and referral based agent. The full name of today's topic is how to keep every lead and following up with leads. So session 10, keep every lead. And today, let's see if we want to start. You start on page 10.2 in your participant guide. So the first one is keep every lead. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and share screen and get started. Any questions, any excitement, anything like that before we get started? Tyler, I totally hear you. Follow up is a booger, but it's also the most important thing. Did you know that most people quit following up after between 2 and 5 touches, but really the magic happens between 7 and 10? Oh my gosh, we're just like 2 touches away from gold. Also, I will talk about a lot of books today. So if anybody wants to be a scribe and write them down for me, I would love that. But one of them, for instance, is it's called, I think, 3 Feet from Gold. It's by Sharon Lechter. And it's just all about how people just quit right before the magic is about to happen. So I highly recommend that book. It's especially if you feel like you are beating your head against the wall. Sam, if we have specific questions about AI, I'm happy to answer them because I do use AI a good bit. And Roman, I'm gonna put all my info in right here. I am a very accessible, very Googleable person. as we all should be as professionals. So I'm on Instagram. You can find me everywhere. So, all right, let's rock and roll. I'm going to share screen and get this party started. We're going to learn how to keep every lead. Okay, and do me a favor and give me a thumbs up if you can see this. Keep every lead on the screen. Amazing. Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, so some of this stuff, you're going to have some duplicate information in terms of just the structure, the format of how Ignite is going, right? You guys are already several sessions in, a week and a half or so in. So far you guys have hopefully learned a little bit about your value proposition, how to assert that. And okay, so we are going to go into this is essentially your biggest job is to get new leads, generate leads, which you guys already talked about, follow up with leads, serve them, and then keep doing that, right? And then grow your database. So I think you guys have already talked about a lot of that. Oh, thank you for putting that link in the chat. I appreciate that. It's a great one. Okay, so this is the section that we're in today. So we talked about how you're going to generate leads already, how you can capture them. And I know you guys did go over some of the tools like using lead capture pages, things like that in Command. And then this is about basically like they're in your web already. How do we keep them there? And then how do we kind of hopefully then turn them into a qualified lead, right? So it's just a few things. We're going to talk about basically strategies or campaigns, which is something else that you will go into with the tech session, and how to follow up with your leads. So we're going to talk today about, what is lead follow-up, how to follow up with the lead, what are some of those ideas that you can do to that. And one of the things that I think is really, really important to also mention is that a lead doesn't have to be somebody that's a buyer or a seller. They can lead you to someone else, right? They can lead you to a buyer or a seller. So one question I would love to ask you guys, and you can, if you want to like raise your hand if you want to answer this, it might be the easiest one for now, but does anybody know the difference between a lead and a contact?
A
A lead
contact.
would be
the
just
name.
someone having interest to learn about real estate, or just a number we have to even cold call. Contact
Sure.
would be somebody who already perhaps answered to our call, and we established a contact maybe with them.
Got it.
But-
And Aisha, you were talking as well. Is that how you say your name? Oh, you're muted.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And did you have anything to kind of add? Is that kind of what you were
No.
thinking?
Yeah, same thing. Contact is just a name and a number, whereas the lead would be someone that you've had a conversation with who's actually expressed some kind of interest in some kind of real estate transaction.
So it's the opposite way around. So
Oh,
it's the lead is just a lead, they filled out a form. A contact is someone that you have earned the right to have a two-way conversation with. Okay, so whenever you look in Command, there's a little checkbox for you to click lead. And then whenever they come in, say for instance, they drop on your website or drop on your app or fill out a Facebook form or something like that, they come in automatically as a lead. But then whenever you have earned the right, and I think that's the most important language here that I want to share with you, is when you have earned the right to have a two-way conversation with them, then they're not a lead anymore, then they're a contact. You have made contact, right? Does that make sense?
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So all the people in my phone are what? Just contacts?
Great question. So in theory, they are contacts if you've had a two-way conversation with them. However, we each have the autonomy to use our database how we would like. So one of the things that I highly recommend whenever you're uploading your database in the first place into Command is maybe marking them all as a lead until they know that you're in real estate. and just kind of like work your way through. That's just a suggestion on how you can do that. Yes, Sam, a prospect. Yes, a prospect versus an actual content. Yeah, they're potentials.
Okay.
So, and then, so you have a way, so hopefully that's like a cool idea to help you kind of organize. And say, for instance, you're bringing in 500 people into command or whatever, like you can mark them as leads until you systematically go through and like have, qualifying conversations with them or, something like that. Okay.
Got it. Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, so this is kind of the agenda for today. So let's get into it. What is lead follow-up? Here's the cool thing. Like people always think they say like, oh, when is it a good time to buy? It depends on if you're ready to buy. It depends on like it isn't really the market because let's be honest, everybody is still getting jobs, retiring, having babies, getting divorced, getting married, and moving for jobs, right? Everybody's always doing those things. Now, where the market could fluctuate would be maybe their price point, or maybe, maybe they want to get a second home, or maybe they want an investment property. That's where those shifting things. One of the things that I love to do, and if we were in a classroom, I would take this graph and I would shift it upside down. And it would look like this, right? It would look just like this. Down that middle line, the through line would be jobs, relocation, divorce, death. I know it's morbid, but life, right? And, getting married, like the normal stuff. People need to buy a house. They move to your town, they need to buy a house because they got a job there. Okay, fine. Like, and then on the exterior, these like kind of ebbs and flows is when it's not a great economy, maybe there's more investments and bank-owned property. When it's a super good economy, when we're thinking about this twirl, right? When it's super good economy over here, then maybe we might see more people like purchasing properties to rent out, purchasing Airbnbs, purchasing second home or beach homes or luxury homes, things like that, right? But down the middle is the tried and true. And keep in mind too, when you shift this back to how it is now on the screen, is that people are going to move every 7 to 10 years. And just know that every year Keller Williams does put out a lot of information about the likelihood of moving, who's moving, where they're moving to, all that kind of stuff, because over 80% of homeowners have basically a crap ton of equity in their home because, especially if they bought their homes at that 2-3% rate that we were experiencing during that overcorrection of COVID, right? So keep in mind, like, that it's every 7 to 10 years, but it also depends on where you are in the United States, and then also where we are in the economy overall. But this is just data, from years and years and years. So, you think about like if you got a lead right after they moved into a home, you might be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But keep in mind when we think about a lead, even if they're not going to move for 7 years, they can help send you a referral. Or like some of my best referring people have never bought or sold from me. It's that they like me and that they know that I do a good job. Like my best friend has probably sent me, I don't know, 8 clients before. So just keep that in mind, that also your leads or your contacts are not necessarily people that are directly wanting to purchase or to sell a home. So you need to be really open-minded about what your database can look like. So there's really no such thing as like a good lead or a bad lead. It's just a not now lead. Okay. All right, let's move over into, this is kind of like the framework, right? It's possible, then probable, then profitable, right? So the first part is maybe they would. The second part is, yeah, they're probably gonna. And then the third part is, okay, that they do, right? So let's see. And there's some stats. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing some of those stats with you. So when selecting an agent, 73% of buyers only talked to one agent. What does that say to you guys?
You have to be top of mind.
Yes. And first, a lot of the times, and timing is everything.
Mhm.
Timing is so everything. And get this, okay, so that's buy side, sell side, 82% of sellers only talk to one agent. That means, and we always think about, oh my gosh, we're interviewing for the listing. Are we? Like, I don't know. I feel like no, I'm a sphere-based business, so I want to be really clear that it does depend on how you build your business. I feel like I've only interviewed maybe twice where like I knew that they weren't going to pick me because it was a warm handoff from somebody that had already done business with me or knew me in another capacity. It does depend on how you get your leads, however, because mine are warm handoffs. Does that make sense? How mine are warm and how it would skew that? But I have lost them before. Like lost a listing before. And that's okay too. As long as you have enough leads coming in, you don't mind losing one, And that's really why lead generation in this whole concept is really important. Okay, I would love for somebody to unmute, raise your hand first, and then unmute, and then read this so that I can just break for a moment.
If you aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's it. So the real important thing, that's why we have to talk to them so often. I'm going to skip ahas. Well, does anybody have anything that they kind of like learned or kind of thought about during this first part? You can type it in or just unmute yourself. Okay, let's move on. Okay. We want to get into a little bit more of the meat and potatoes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to actually follow up with a lead. And I believe it was Sam, you talked about how like follow up is like, not so much. So we talk about the fortune is in the follow up. And so it makes reference to, yes. Okay. So I want you to go to page 10.4 where it says the fortune is in the follow up mind share. And it has a section called leads 19 to connect. Sam, do you want to unmute or yeah, do you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say, like, we gotta do whatever is possible, even if it's AI or not, just to keep our names on their mind constantly, so that you just wouldn't forget your name.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. So whenever we're putting this together, we're going to talk a little bit about the way that you communicate with a lead is different than the way you communicate with a contact. But there's a lot of overlap, don't get me wrong, but a lead is one, you can do a few different things. One of them, so how they're saying here is the 19 to connect, right? So we have 19 to connect, 1 to cement. That is the crest that brings you between, a lead or a one-way conversation versus 1 to cement, and that establishes that connection that earns you the right to then have an actual two-way conversation, and then they become a contact. Now, I'm curious, why do you think, you see how at the top it says 19 to connect, 1 to cement, 36 to go for it beyond. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think it's 36 if you already know the person? 36 to convert. You can unmute.
They may not be in a position to buy or sell a home right now.
Yeah. Yeah. In theory, a lead maybe has reached out to you already. So maybe they're already a little bit hotter. But all contacts in general, this is going to include, your cousin that just bought last year. In theory, your contacts are going to be more plentiful than your leads because you've already like cemented those conversations. Cool. So when we're looking at these, the good news though too is that a lot of this can be automated, right? So we can look here, some of these are the quarterly phone call is the most important one though. Have you guys been introduced to the concept of DTD2 or do the database twice? Have you guys heard that concept yet? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. DTD2 means do the database twice. If I could give you guys a piece of homework, I want you to look up a DTD2 spreadsheet and just type in like KWDTD2. It'll pop right up. What it's going to do is it is going to categorize your database by last name. Well, it's not going to categorize. It's going to tell you how to categorize it. And for instance, 1 week, you're going to talk to all the people that their last name ends in A and W, and then B and Q, etc. But it's very methodically calculated so that you are able to touch your database 4 times with a quarterly phone call. So what I usually do, or what I do, is I've tagged them in command with their appropriate DTD2. So I have A and W, Q and R, you know, whatever it is. Don't quote me on what the letters are. I don't remember offhand. But you go through, and then each week, like 1 week, it's okay, these are all my A and Ws. Week 2, it's you know, all my Q's and R's or whatever. And then it goes through, and it'll take 3 months for you to go through your database and do your quarterly call. Yep, do the database twice. Okay, so everybody, that's one of your pieces of homework. I'm gonna write this down too, because I'll follow up with you guys with this too. Okay. And then, so that's it's the most important one, because obviously you're having a two-way conversation, all that kind of stuff. So H and V, text J is this week. Thank you. That's amazing. And then you also have some touches that are more indirect. So like your 12 touches, we're going to focus on that today during our lead gen time. So the 12 touches, a monthly email newsletter, a market report, a video, whatever it is. And that's usually where you aren't necessarily making a two-way conversation. You're just sending them. So it's a one-way communication style. And then you have 2 other touches that can be basically a pop by, a tactile thing. And then you have another touch that it is an event or a face-to-face. And I will share with you guys a little bit about what I do. I mostly do it for my contacts, because most of my people are contacts, because once again, a sphere-based person. So let's go into one to cement. Now the deal is any of these, that phone call could cement the conversation. They could finally answer, and they could finally like have a meaningful conversation with you about their real estate related goals. They could you know, finally like contact you after receiving that super cute magnet, you know, or that super cool postcard offering them a home equity analysis or something like that. Or they could attend your event and be like, you know what, thank you so much for always inviting me. And like, you can actually finally have a meaningful conversation. So that's the one to cement. Then we go into the 36 to convert. And so once again, you're going to have your quarterly phone calls. The good news too is you can also add them to the quarterly call plan in command. So you can set that up where it's like, okay, well, it's week 17 of the year. These are my quarterly call plan items. Then you have 26 touches. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so many. These are still emails. So we're going to talk about a monthly branded newsletter. Amanda, I see you. I'll snag you in 1 second. A monthly branded newsletter, something like that. And then also like a neighborhood nurture or one of our smart plans. So if you guys haven't heard of the neighborhood nurture, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, oh yeah, sphere versus sphere, yes. Okay, then 2 touches, events, get-togethers, parties. I actually, on May 1st, I have my next event. I do about 3 a year, and I'll tell you what those are, but I started with just 1, because honestly, it's kind of a pain in the butt, and I didn't want to do it at first, but now I have it to where it's organized, and I do 3 events a year. And then 4 touches. And so these can also, so one of the touches that I do every year for my clients is I do an ornament. I love Christmas. I like ornaments. I get a local person to make them. So I'm cross-promoting on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. It's a local entrepreneur, a local craftsman, a local artist that makes them every year. I've gotten less and less expensive with them because my first year they were like $30 each, but I only had like 15 clients, so it was okay. But, you know, just keep that in mind whenever you start to grow that. Last year I had leather tags, like little leather ornaments that were hand stamped with something cute. So this is, so now we can see that there's 19 to connect, 1 to cement, 36 to convert. Any questions about that?
So I think the guy yesterday had said something about whenever he did the 36 touch, that he had a lot of people unsubscribing, so he didn't really suggest the 36 touch thing. Maybe I misunderstood him, or maybe I heard it differently than what he meant it, or whatever, but I want to say that he said something like that.
I thought he said he used some kind of service.
I can
Yes.
touch
Yeah,
on
that's what he
that.
said.
It was a service that
He used third-party email. So basically, he sent an email to everybody, and as the emails started blasting, and there were too many, people start unsubscribing from the email list. So he stopped it.
So
Oh,
there-
okay, yeah, I did get that wrong then. All right, I apologize.
No, that's okay. Well, and email is a really important thing for my strategy, but I have a 56% open rate because I'm very conscientious about how I run my emails. If you're just randomly blasting somebody, would you guys unsubscribe?
Yes.
I
Yes.
totally would, especially if it was unsolicited. I would be like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So keep in mind that it depends on how you do it. And so I'm happy to kind of share with you a little bit about how I do it, because the only people that go on my big email list are people that I have earned the right to have a two-way conversation with. I don't put my leads on my big email list just yet, but it also like depends on how often you send them. It depends on how valuable they are. And if you were to like say, for instance, you have a database of 1,000 people, if you just all of a sudden put all 1,000 in your email, you will get a lot of unsubscribes and even spam reports. So I also recommend that whenever you do your emails, that you kind of like slowly bring them in like a couple hundred at a time and test out subject lines before you just bring an entire database in. If you guys have more questions about marketing, I do branding and marketing and stuff like that so that we can have like offline conversation about it. So because I'm super passionate about email marketing specifically, and it's super annoying if you don't do it right. So makes sense. All right. So, and remember, these are all all throughout an entire year. So when do you think someone should be added to your 19 touch campaign?
I don't know, at least when they are interested to keep in touch with you and are interested in your services.
Yeah. I mean, really the split second you want to try to get them into your web in some way. It doesn't mean that you have to put them on every single solitary touch plan that you have. Maybe you stagger it. And that's one of the nice things about Command. You can put them on what's called a welcome sequence. Like basically, I met you at an open house sequence that just launches them to the I met you at an open house sequence. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 things, you know, text, email, task. And then once they're done with that, then you can automatically through Command put them into your normal like monthly like conversion newsletter or something like that. So you can kind of stagger it, and I recommend doing that. It feels a lot less like I got your email and now I'm going to spam you. So you can write those out. Cool. So you do want to put them on a campaign immediately, because also for the organization of it, because let's be honest, you're not going to remember. So you want to add them to Command immediately if they weren't automatically added on the like within it. And then you want to start that campaign either with text messages or emails or tasks right away. Okay. I think I pressed the wrong button. Oh, let me go back. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Lead follow-up best practices. So when we want to look at this, I think one of the things that is really, really important that sometimes we get lost in the sauce with is, what are my strengths? What I know about myself, for instance, is I'm an in-person person. So one of my lead gen forms is I invite people to coffee and I do events. They need to be in my energy, my people, like, and that's what I like too, right? Like, I go to coffee with my friends or with my clients. I'm literally going to trivia next week with my clients. And I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm saying this is a strength that I have and a skill that I have and like a joy zone that I have. So I want you to kind of like ask yourself, like, what is a normal way that you would want to reach out to people? And then also always think about some reasons that you might have for contacting someone. We were brainstorming this today. We had a mastermind in my office today, and we were talking about, what if something crazy happened in, like, there was an alligator that showed up in the neighborhood. I live in Charleston, we have alligators. So like an alligator showed up in the neighborhood, you could be like, oh my gosh, I saw an alligator was in your neighborhood. It doesn't have to be directly related to real estate, you guys. That's the most important thing. Yes, it could be their birthday, yeah, an anniversary or something like that. But it could also just be like, yeah, oh my gosh, this would look so cute in your house, like a piece of decor. Like, think about anything. Or like, hey, I saw this whiskey and I know you really drink whiskey. I had it the other day and I bet you would love this. Next time you're at the store, you should snag this one. Whatever, just something that makes you feel connected to them based on the fact that you've had a conversation. And then Sam, go for it.
Yeah, I remember our first Ignite on last week. The guy was talking about how even when he would sell someone a house, he would do something for the next 6 months just so that he can have a reason to touch base with them, whether it's sending them a gift to the house, something related to maintenance of the house, something related to the gardening of the house, just so that his name can stay on their mind.
Especially in those first 6 months afterwards, that is crucial. That's how you build clients for life, because they don't feel transactional. I mean, how icky does it feel to be like, thanks for your money, bye, never talk to you again? Like, but especially in those first 6 months, like having an offboarding checklist process is like so amazing. I love that. Taylor?
So I just got my license like 2 weeks ago. I haven't even worked with anybody yet, but that's something that like I've been thinking about too, like how to stay in contact with people, because I've been teetering the line of like, how do you stay professional and how do you just make sure you have conversations with people? Like, because I would have thought, like, not to be like rude or anything, because obviously I'm brand new, but I would have thought that maybe that would come off as like maybe unprofessional, like, oh my God, they're trying to be my friend now. But
Does
like you
depend, and you have to read the room. Like I definitely have some clients that honestly, I have a couple creepy clients. I'm just gonna be super frank with you. Like, some of them I don't invite to everything. You know what I mean? But here's the thing is, they don't have to go. And so even like make sure that like you can kind of have VIPs. You can that we call them like an A, a B, or a C client. You can kind of tier your clients. So I call them my rock stars. I like rock and roll. So like my rock stars, like they're invited to everything. And I would go get drinks with them. I'm not going to go get drinks with every single client like that. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. And it also kind of does depend on the way that you build your business. Like, I mean, honestly, a lot of my clients I have gone to breweries with or markets with or things like that, because that's how we have like this cool like rockabilly festival, and like there's like 4 of us that like go every year now. But how cute is that? But that's how I want to build my business. You could literally hear that and be like, oh my God, I do not want to hang out with my clients that much. Love that for you. But for me, it like feeds me. It like makes me feel so special. And then they never don't refer me. Like,
right.
Their friends think that they'd be idiots not to work with me. Like that's the like energy that I want. Like,
right.
yeah,
that makes sense.
like,
Basically,
Winnie is my girl,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Definitely just like read the room, and you don't have to say the same things to every single client. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And you definitely, and I have like some clients that are more, say, like traditional or conservative than me. And so, like I'm a very authentic person. Like that's kind of my thing. But, there's definitely like sometimes when I'm not going to be quite as like, so,
Yeah.
and then one of the things that's really important is whenever you have to time block for this. So you have to time block to set up your events. You have to time block to do your quarterly calls. You have to time block and then bunker. It's literally called bunker. So one of the next things I want you guys to write down is the class called 6 Personal Perspectives. If you guys have that class in your market center, it is the fundamental organizational and mindset, like systems and mindset class that Keller Williams does. It's one of my personal favorites. You can also ask your market center leadership to book me to teach it because I'm obsessed with teaching it. I love it, love it, love it.
Can you repeat the
Because
name? Sorry.
it's called 6 Personal Perspectives.
Thank you.
Yep, 6 Personal Perspectives. It is one of the most amazing classes, mindset and system classes. So, and then as you're building this, you're going to understand how long it takes you to talk to leads and all that kind of stuff. You're going to kind of build out like your flow and your checklist, so to speak. Okay. All right. So then we have, so this is just an example. One of the great things, this is, I believe, Sam, you were talking about using AI. This right here, this is a perfect place to use AI is say, hi, I want to build out, and you can even say, it doesn't have to say 19 to convert. It can say however many numbers you want to do. And you can say, I want 2 a month to be newsletters. I want 1 a quarter to be a phone call. I want, 2 per year to be pop buys, whatever it is. And I want you to give me 5 examples for each of those categories based on my interests of I like to run and I like yoga and I like cocktails, whatever it is. I'm obviously speaking from personal experience. But so you can totally, this is actually what I teach in one of my branding classes as I teach you guys how to create a content marketing strategy using AI. Because it makes your life so much easier whenever you just know what you do every year. It's like, well, every October I host a Halloween event. That's what I do every October, the end. Every December, I do ornaments, the end. Every February, I do yoga, the end. And then I do a happy hour in the summer, the end. Those are my things. Those are my touch points. And I do the exact same thing every single year. Once you know what those are, double down, just do those. And then don't ever try to reinvent the wheel or think about honestly something else. You're like, oh my God, but do it based on like your value system. Like for instance, this organized neighborhood park cleanup. Love this idea. So if that super resonates with you, or maybe like a food drive or something like that, or something related to like the SPCA, anything that just do these things that super resonate with you. So for instance, I do a yoga event every year. Why do you guys think I do a yoga event every year? You think I like yoga? Yeah, that's why. Because I want to do the things that I want to do. And if my clients want to come along, cool. And if they don't, cool. I still invited them. And that is the point, my friends. You always want to invite your clients 7 times. So anyhow, okay. I get a little excited. Okay. So once you have kind of your categories, right? So those are the calls, text, email, newsletter, some sort of a pop by, something, ooh, skating rink. I love skating too. Like a promotional tactile item and then an event. So these are just your activities, right? And you're going to share it. But like I said, like do it in a way that feels like so you, that's so on brand, that just like honestly reeks of who you are. So by show of hands or just do a thumbs up if you want to invest in real estate or work with real estate investors. Okay. Yeah. So you get, what if you organized a quarterly investor meetup? How cute is that? Or even tacked yourself on to somebody else that already does it, but invite all of your investor clients so you're not even doing the work. Hello, right? So think about like, what is it that you want to build? And then do that. That's why, for instance, I do my yoga event and I do a Halloween event. I like Halloween. Okay, so that's what I do because it's natural to me. Build it and they will come. I love it. And then I do one at a brewery. It's so easy. I also love like an estate planning or like like an estate planning like workshop too, and then my attorney comes in and talks. You can also do like say a first time home buyer workshops, things like that. Just think about like your age group too. You know, like what is important to people in your community right now. Awesome. Yeah, business owners, great idea. Taylor?
So where do you host these things, these
Yeah.
events?
So a few things. So yoga, I do it at my yoga studio, or you can like I live near the beach, so I could just like do it on the beach one day too. But I rent out my yoga studio and it usually costs about $500. And I fill up the room and I have 30 mats. And so I let people know that it's maxed out at 30 clients. So then there's like that excitement, right? That like FOMO. So we sell out. And then I get my attorney to pay for it. It's great. Because she gets all my clients, so she's gonna pop $500 into the success, you know? And then for instance, my happy hour next week, I do it at a big brewery. So it's huge, very kid friendly. It's like an indoor outdoor space. I'm not paying any money for the space. I'm not renting a space. You can also use your market center if you have a training room on a Saturday or a Sunday, do a home buyer seminar or an estate planning seminar. Just rent out your market center. That is part of your services that you're allowed to have. And you can do that. But for instance, my lender went for my brewery event next week. He's footing the bill. And all I do is I invite all my clients and hang out. Now, I will say when I do that, I have one drink max and I just sip on it for like 2 full hours because we're like hanging out like modicum of decorum. But just know that works. A lot of my clients like a good brewery and a lot of them have kids, so they want to be able to bring their kiddos there too. I know, get them drunk, sell houses. I'm sure it's happened before. Cool. All right. So you also want to, whenever you're putting this out there, right, you want to put maybe some stats and data. So make sure that you always have, and ChatGPT can help you with this too. It's like, hey, especially if you have like the paid for version, you know, what are some market stats that I can share for X, Y, and Z community or something like that. And then definitely you can check out, oh, if you guys want to write these down, Mortgage News Daily, Housing Wire, Daily Housing Wire, like your MLS should have like some sort of a market tracker or some sort of a market monitor app included.
Mortgage.
Keeping Current Matters. I'm typing these up for y'all.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Keeping Current Matters. So these are just a few things that you can just right before you have right before you make your phone calls, make sure that you have some knowledge around it. Okay? Just some ways, because like for me, the economics, I'm just being honest, it ain't my thing, right? Like I flipped houses before I got into real estate. So that's my value proposition, is that I know how much a toilet costs and I can tell you which wall to take down, right? So that's like one of my unique value propositions. Everybody has one, but like numbers isn't mine. So I really do need these resources. These are really helpful for me. Okay. So you want to focus on how you're adding value. Oh, that's good. Your broker sends that. That's great. Yep, from listing reports. So you want to focus on adding your value first, and then you can talk about these are some of your lead sources, right? Somebody might call in from a yard sign, social media marketing. You could purchase leads, anything like that. So just know these are how your clients could contact you. And then the question is, how will you communicate with them and then put them into your CRM? Like, what are some of the different questions you might have based on how they contacted you? And then you'll go through and create your follow-up or add them to the smart plans based on that, right? Does that make sense? Cool. Taylor, your hand raised, but then it went, you good?
I think I answered my own question. I was just still stuck on the seminars. Like, for instance, when you were saying your first time homebuyer seminars, obviously you're not going to invite like your clients to those because they've already probably purchased from you. So
You're going to say, hey, who do
Yeah.
you know would benefit from this?
okay. I was gonna ask like who you reach out to. Like, is it your contacts, like friends that you know? Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to I'm trying to piece it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what like, hey, I'm putting this event. Didn't know if you wanted to invite anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank
Cool.
you.
Of
If I
course.
may add,
Yeah.
we all probably have people in our phone book, in our contact list, in the phone that perhaps already own a home, right? Purchased their first property within the last couple of years. Not necessarily, I would not assume, I learned it, my way. I would not assume that they know everything they should, because there's a lot to know for a first-time home buyer. I had myself very bad experience with our agent. All right, she's definitely not keeping in touch with me. She's definitely not getting ever referred to anything in the world, whatever.
That's why some
But
people get licensed. They're like, my agent was terrible.
right, right. So even if you know somebody who already bought a house 2 years ago, still invite them or let them know of whatever events you do. You never know. They might actually show up to support you if you're friends, or they might be like, you know what, we want to buy another house next year or sell this one. We need to learn because we got screwed up. I don't want to be screwed up with it again. So that could be
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think the important part of what I'm hearing is that you aren't making the decision for them whether or not they want to attend. You are inviting them, and then you are
Correct.
allowing them to make that decision. Yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So I would love to hear what are some of your ahas or takeaways from that part.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Say you want to do an open house, but you want to put on like Eventbrite. So these may be like people who just come around. You don't have a relationship with them, but you're putting out the open house, you're putting out marketing, and you're just seeing kind of, putting it out there and seeing who comes.
Love
Obviously,
it.
if they come there, it's going to be. I'm just wondering how that fits into this framework because it seems like your examples were for people you already knew. But if you're
Mhm.
trying to do, I mean, obviously, when you put together your player thing, you're going to put out to people you know, but you'll put out to people you don't know. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so especially if it's like a first time home buyers workshop or something like that. And is it okay to do maybe several iterations of it? So I mean, I'm new. I just got my license in February, and so just like doing it one time and then kind of tweaking it, based on my experience with doing it the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Command under Smart Plans, there is an open house smart plan. There's actually several open house smart plans. So I would invite you to go in, read the one that resonates with you, edit it, update it. But just know that like that's whenever you're getting them in. So whether you're getting them in from an open house, you can use Eventbrite, you can use a Facebook ad, you can flyer the neighborhood. Like say for instance, it's in like an HOA neighborhood, you could put it in, say, the rec center, a flyer, something like that. You could put it in the Facebook group, any of those types of things. And then the point though, or the goal is they attend. How are you going to actually collect their data? How are you going to get their name, their phone number, their email? Those are the four main pieces of data that we need, right? And then address would be fifth, or address would be the next one if we could. So how are you doing that? And so, yeah, you absolutely would do that. Same with the home buyer workshop. You would totally want to put that on Eventbrite and potentially get strangers. That's leads. That's great. And then what happens is after they're in your web, then you start kind of the rest of it.
Okay, so you said name, phone number, email, and what was it, the fourth one?
Their address, if you can.
Address. Okay.
Those are the four main things. Whenever you're in Command, you have an opportunity to get what's called your database health. Those are the four main things that will get you really high database health score. And then the next things would be birthday, occupation, social media, and home anniversary. Those are each 2% each. So the rest of it will get you 92% database health. So, yep. And I love open houses. I think they're great. So, all right, any takeaways from that section?
You said date of birth, occupation, anniversary, and
Home anniversary. Home
Okay, thank
anniversary,
you.
birthday, occupation, social media.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Winnie. I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very informative, and I do have a lot of aha moments as well. But my question is, when you are partnering, I guess, with different people in your sphere to host these events, what exactly like are you presenting to them that's making them be like, okay, I totally will join you on board. This is a great idea. Like what kind of like wording are you using, especially like for new agents? I know it's important
You
to
mean
kind
like
of
for a
leverage
home buyer seminar or for a happy hour?
like either or. Like you mentioned like you were partnered with your lawyer, and that's obviously good for your business as well as your lawyer's business, because they could be potentially getting clients. Just like,
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
So what you're going to do is at your market center, you're going to be able to create relationships with some lenders and some attorneys. So you're going to go out and get coffee with them. You're going to ask them what some of their goals are. You can even ask them like, hey, what would I need to bring to the table in order for you to sponsor some sphere-based events? Because that's a passion that I'm having, that I want to do. Say, for instance, I want to do a first-time home buyer seminar. If I guarantee you 15 people in the seat, will you sponsor lunch? Sponsoring lunch is only a few $100. You know what I mean? It isn't anything too crazy. Yeah, lenders, attorneys, home inspectors, those are the big ones in that order.
Got
Even
it.
like,
Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, if you're in a title state, a title company could do that too. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and move on because I'm being slow. Okay. Actually, we're not as bad as I thought. Okay. But we're a little bit tight. All right. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you this funnel, and you guys are likely going to see this funnel a lot. Shake your head if you've seen this funnel before. Okay, got it. Great. You're going to keep seeing it just so that you know. Like this never goes away. This is literally this is what it looks like, right? So lead capture is prospecting and marketing. Prospecting and marketing is on page 138 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. You want to lead with prospecting because it is inexpensive, quick, and it just involves sweat equity. It involves your time. Marketing, you have to spend money to do, and it's slow and it's not guaranteed. So I would really focus on prospecting. So, and like I said, that's page 138 of the MREA talks about lead capture. All right, Doug, I'm going to pop through this real quick and then I'll come back to you if that's okay. Cool. All right, so then you're capturing them, they're in your database, right? So at first they're a lead, then you form a relationship, then they're a contact. Your goal was they become a contact is then to strengthen that relationship. So your goal, that's why the quarterly calls or maybe the emails or the events or the pop-bys, these are ways to strengthen those relationships so that you can then have two-way conversations. After you have strengthened the relationship, then you can start having actual needs analysis types of conversations. You know, hey, what are your real estate related goals this year? Hey, I know you bought your home a couple of years ago, but would it be interesting to have a real estate value analysis? By the way, yeah, it would. It super would. It would be super interesting for anybody to have a real estate like equity analysis or a real estate portfolio analysis. Like, how cute does that sound? Oh, thanks, Doug. Like, I know a lot of people that are like, yeah, I would love to have that. And then, you know, they become a client. They can become a new client or a repeat client, and then they can send you referrals. Great. You know, it's like, This is like the little circle of life, the little like real estate circle of life here. Okay, see that was the quickest one ever, wasn't it? All right, we are perfect. All right, so, and then this is where that high value touch comes in. So I'd love to hear, and if everybody could just type it in the chat box, what is the one thing that you're gonna do to keep every lead based on this conversation? What is the one thing you are going to do to keep every lead? I can't wait to see. Command, communicate, yes. Get people into your database, yes. Touch, talk, yes. It's kind of weird we say like how many touches, just get over it. It's weird, just own it. That's what we do. 36 touch plan, follow up, set up the 36 touch. The good news is that those 36 touches are in command under smart plans already. Go in, find one that resonates with you. Now, the end of it, it's going to say John Smith or whatever. Make sure and, make it say you. And for instance, if it says hello at the beginning and you're more of a howdy kind of a person, make it say howdy at the beginning, like zhuzh it so that it feels like you. Okay. Happy hour event. Dude, a happy hour event is here's one of the other things, like this is a little sleeper. You can totally just organize an event, but not pay for it. You can be like, listen, a whole bunch of us are getting together for happy hour. I would love to see you. You don't have to have a sponsor yet, and then just go around and work the room, like work it, like, be that butterfly that's like, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm in real estate now. It's great. Oh, and then have your couple little things to talk about the market. Be like, I'm so glad that you were here. I'm going to go say hi to my friend Joe, and then pop around, right? You can just organize people being in the same place. You don't even have to spend money. So keep that in mind too. Especially at first, because you're right. Or you can partner with another agent, especially if you're on a team. Partner with another agent, partner with a new agent. But really, and one of the things too, when you're working with like getting like vendor partners, if it's a newer lender, now listen, you want to vet them because sometimes newer people are not always the best. I'm just being honest. But you can even ask your rock star lender, be like, hey, I want to partner with a new lender and us like build a really cool home buyer workshop every week. Do you have somebody in your lending office? Like a mortgage broker has usually other lenders, just like our brokers have other agents, right? And see if you can partner up with them, like ask them. Cool. Raquan, you had a question or comment, concern.
Yeah, so what I'm getting from this, and it's definitely valuable information. Now, I'm just thinking about how to actually the conversations to actually have with new people and the new clients that you are interacting with. Now, from what I'm getting from you is that you're like a very easygoing person. It's probably easy to get along with you and stuff like that. But for someone who, let's say, maybe they have anxiety or they're not the best at talking to people, how do you even start the conversation of bringing them into your lead, your sphere and stuff like that? Like, do you have any like just like things that you do or things that help you be able to talk to people who even if they don't want to talk or just accepting rejection and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. I love this conversation. This is a great one. That's a really good question, and thank you for that. So the thing that you do, this is especially if you kind of know that, say for instance, you kind of know somebody, but you haven't talked to them in like a year or 5 years, and it's kind of weird. You go through what's called FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Think about summer vacation. Like, oh, what's your plan for the summer? That would be like dreams. And you would go through and be like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 5 years. I was just thinking about you the other day. How's the family? Oh, amazing. And work's going good. I know last time you were up for that promotion. Cool, cool, cool. Well, are you still doing yoga or doing CrossFit or whatever? Okay, amazing. And then here's the thing is they're going to ask you these questions back of you. usually, not always, but sometimes, you know? So you have an opportunity to have then a two-way conversation. So that's one of the things too. And then I would also, you know, because you are going to say, well, I'm in real estate. And so you do want to make sure that you are, that you have like kind of a little market update in your pocket, because they could be like, all right, well, what's the market up to? Like, is it a good time to buy? So you always want to have like a little bit of an answer, you know, just be like, you know, whatever it might be based on your community. But the deal is that, you know, the market is a little bit down, but not very much, and interest rates have steadied. So we're feeling really confident right now. And new construction is offering some really amazing incentives. So I'm just loving what I'm doing, being able to help people. What are your plans for this summer? And then like change the subject back to them. Because that's really like, that's what people want to talk about. They want to talk about themselves. So hopefully that helped.
Got you. Thank you.
Of course.
And if someone else had their hand raised or not.
Okay. Nope, it's you, LaShawn.
Okay. So yesterday was about, one of the comments was mentioning about dealing with objectives. And I like how you took, in my mind, and I could be wrong, taking the objective and, you know, flipping it in a positive, but then also letting them know what the current market is doing for that, so that you're not just saying, well, did you ever think about this, but taking it a step further so that they have some type of incentive or some idea, like you said, with what's going on currently with the market.
Yeah, well, they don't know what they don't know. So I was in that, I was telling you, I was in mastermind earlier today. And one of the things that we talked about was whenever you're having a buyer consultation or a listing consultation, instead of starting with, okay, this is what the listing process looks like. This is what the selling process looks like. And then going into a needs analysis. When do you need to sell? Why do you need to sell? Or what kind of a house do you want? Does it need to be fenced in? These are the two normal things we talk about is the process and a needs analysis. What if, is what we thought about today, leading with just giving a little market expectation overview, just 2 to 3 sentences, just kind of letting people know. That's why I put in the chat like some of those resources, so that you can just kind of, and then also you're asserting yourself as the economist of choice or the real estate agent of choice. You're asserting yourself as a knowledgeable person right out the gate, and then you're kind of going into it. So cool. I love these. I love all these follow-ups. So here's the other thing. I know I talked about your homework was DTD2. I want you guys to time block 2 hours to set up some of these 36 touches. Here's the deal. This is my personal recommendation. You set up your systems and that kind of stuff at night though, not whenever you could be like lead generating. You set it up at night. Does that make sense? Like when you can't be calling people or having a coffee with somebody, you know, or taking somebody out to lunch or whatever, that's when you build out these systems. If that works for you, or at 6 a.m. when you can't be calling people either. If you're an early bird or a night owl. Yep. Rachel, yes, Command does offer automatic email templates that you can set up. So that's actually what we're going to go into right now. So, okay, 2 things. I'm going to share with you guys one link real quick, because you guys, remember, you guys are doing me a favor. Let me pull this up. Okay. All right. So right here, I just put it in the chat box. I would love for everybody to click on this. A couple of things are going to happen. One, you're going to be part of my referral partner program. I do business and deals all over the country. I think you guys do too, and want to, right? So part of my referral partner program is I send out a quarterly newsletter to my referral agent partners, and all it is I share my systems. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm kind of an organized person. I share my yoga playbook last year. I shared my social media content strategy. I shared my Valentine's Day date guide. So things like that. So the first thing is you'll fill out this little form. You'll be part of my referral partner newsletter. The second thing is it will go into the survey, for you guys to fill out related to this, okay? So if you guys could take the time to do that, and then I'm gonna have you guys fill it out at the end as well. So don't y'all be going anywhere. So this is for whenever you go to fill that out, it is for session 10, Ignite session 10. Keep every lead. And once again, my name is Winnie Rogers. So you have to scroll down because W. And then we're gonna go into a little lead gen time. And is it getting an error message? Let me pull this up and see what it's doing. Oh, no. Well, right. Oh, no, it did work. It just took a second. Okay. Is it working for anybody else? Or is it not working for anybody else?
It worked.
Okay, good. Okay. I did get an error message right at first, then I waited and it went. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, amazing. Taylor, to answer your question, those are technically lead gen. It's not a scam necessarily, but those are like somebody trying to sell you something. You guys are going to get bombarded with healthcare and leads. And they're going to be like, we have these 20% referral fee or, you know, $1,000 a month or something like that. So just know that you are going to get that. Okay. Now, so is everybody complete with, oh wait, that's the Survey Monkey. The other form at the top. We're good with that. This one. Let me delete that other one. Okay. So click on that. I just deleted the wrong one. Ignore me. Doesn't want me to do this. Okay. There we go. Okay. That's the link. And then I know, yeah, Sam, that's a good response. Be like, well, I'll test one out. You know. Okay, we're going to now do a little texting competition. We're going to take about 6 minutes. You guys ready? I want you to go to anybody that their name starts with a W in your phone. W for Winnie. YMCA. So I'm going to type in something. This is exactly what I would say to somebody. So you guys can tweak it, but just know that this is exactly what I would say. I'm going to say, hey, not sure if you knew, but I'm in real estate now. I have this cool neighborhood feature. I'd love to have you test out. Would you help me out? Okay, if you don't have a W, how about a R? You're gonna have some R's. If this script doesn't resonate with you, the other thing that I would do if, like, for instance, if they already know that you're in real estate, the main thing is I always do like an icebreaker or like I ask them to help. It's like, we have this new feature, will you help? We have this new thing, will you test it out for me? Will you give me feedback? So you're asking them for help. So you can copy where it says, hey, not sure if you knew, but I'm in real estate now. I have this cool neighborhood feature I'd love to have you test out. Would you help me out? We can text that to people. So this is your time, and we're gonna set a little timer here for 5 minutes, and you can send out as many of these as possible. Oh, what are you sending them? And then your follow-up question, but you're gonna ask them later is, great, what's your address again? if you don't already have it. And you need their email address.
Okay. Are we emailing them or texting them? We're texting first.
I would text them. You can email them if you want. So you would say, great, okay. Let me delete this one. Let me do this. I would say, great, what's
Your
a
email address.
good email and remind me of your address. And then that's it. And then what you'll do tomorrow morning is you'll go and you'll add them to command, and then you will add them onto the bi-weekly or the monthly neighborhood nurture. So your action, add to monthly neighborhood nurture. Smart plan. There's videos on how to do this on YouTube.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm new to my area, so I know nobody in my
I
area.
love this. This is even better. You're going to text people that don't live there. It's even better. It's less pressure. You're literally just texting your friends and being like, hey, I have this thing. Will you test it out and give me your feedback?
Okay, cool.
That's really all it is.
All right.
But as many people as you can get on this list. Okay, are we ready to rock? I'm going to set a timer 5 minutes. And I want you guys to track how many people you sent it out to. And if you're done with a W, I want you to move to R. We're going with Winnie Rogers initials today. Cool? All right, let's start. We're going to go into 5 minutes of awkward silence. If I was better at music on Zoom, I would Zoom it. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the person that texts the most people gets a branding consultation with me. I'm really good at it too, just so that you guys know. This is also your potty break time if you need it. Taylor, but have you texted them asking this? I'll put that back in the email for you. I put both of them in the chat. I would literally just do this to your entire database. It's super non-intrusive. You know what I mean? Like it isn't it's not salesy. It's just like asking them for help. And sometimes, you know, you can totally ask them like, I'd love, instead of saying like, I'd love to have you test it out, I'd love your feedback. Like people want to help others. That's part of the psychology. Benevolence is one of the 5 major characteristics that separates humans from animals. In case you didn't know. And Taylor, it's called the Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. It's a smart plan that already exists in Command and you don't have to edit it. You would add them to your database. You would go on the right-hand side in contacts. You would click on the button that says, or the thing that says Smart Plan, and you would add them to the Neighborhood Nurture, the Monthly Neighborhood Nurture Smart Plan. And whenever you guys have your tech class, I don't know if that's tomorrow. I believe it might be tomorrow, but your tech class will, or whenever your next session is, your tech class, they can go over this. But if you can figure it out by doing it tomorrow, I would do that too. I'm sure there's a... Actually, Chris Orsini, who is one of the sweetest KW instructors. He's also one of our tech instructors. Here's a little video if you guys want to save that. And Sam, you can select everybody that you texted, like after you put them in and do it all at once, but it depends on if you already have them in the system. But there's the link right there if you guys want to click on that link and save that link. I'm going to add that to our little list, DTD2 and Neighborhood Nurture Smart Plan to send to you guys. All right. Okay, I'd love for folks to report your numbers. How many people were you able to text in that 5 minutes? Let's brag on ourselves. 3, amazing. 15, what? Jake had 7, that's awesome. 4, 5, 5, 7. These are amazing. You guys crushed it. Is having this script helpful? Yeah. And was the script too salesy or did it feel okay? It's pretty chill. I like chill scripts. I'm not a high sales person. Okay. Cool. Good. Okay, Rachel, you had 15. Did anybody beat Rachel's 15? Good. All right. Rachel, I want you to send me a text and we're going to set up a branding session, okay? I'm typing mine in right here. I mean, all of you guys can have my number, of course, but Rachel, I want you to text me. We're doing a branding session, okay? Little audit. We can use the time however you want to brand for your business, okay? Cool. Amazing. Great job. All right, let's move into the next session. So we talked about keeping the leads. Now it's time to follow up with the leads. Let me. Okay, it says I'm like paused here. Stop that. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna go into how to follow up with leads. Some of this, I'm gonna be honest, is a little bit repetitive, but the hope is that, you know, the more you hear it, the more you're gonna internalize it. Okay, that's part of the reason why some of this stuff is repetitive. It's meant to be that way. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I got my chat open, ready to rock. Okay. Everybody feels good about their texting and how to reply, and everybody saved that YouTube link. I'm putting the YouTube link in the chat one more time. Cool? So everybody's homework so far is DTD2, time block to set up your 36 touch, because that was a lot of what y'all wanted to do based on the action items, and then set up your neighborhood nurture. The neighborhood nurture, I would say if you got some replies, do that first. Okay? Watch the video. It's just a few minutes. It's my friend Chris Orsini. He's amazing. He's precious. He's in Florida. So he's on our little East Coast world. Cool. All right, let's rock into following up with leads. So we talked about keeping every lead. Now we're following up with them. We're going to talk a little bit more about conversion. There are spreadsheets that you can track conversion. And that is in the opportunity pipeline in Command. It actually kind of tracks your conversion. It tracks whether you're at a 50% conversion rate, an 80% conversion rate, and you can update that. You can manually update it. Currently the opportunity pipeline in Command. So Command has a contacts applet on the left-hand side, like a little app. And then a few down is the opportunities pipeline. The applet icon is hands shaking. So it's like a deal being done, right? That's my favorite applet in Command, the opportunities pipeline. In the opportunities pipeline, there is a listing side, seller side, and then there's a buyer side. So just know that as you move your clients through a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead to, oh, we're setting an appointment, etc. Nicole, you can do, you can, for the purpose of what we just did, you're going to use your phone. For the purpose of some of the other additional smart plans, you can use Twilio if you want. Just make sure that your first Twilio is super personal and it says something like, hey, this is my business line. Don't mark me as spam, because it looks like spam, the first text message that they get, and ask them a question so that they reply, and then it pulls them out of that. Hopefully that made sense. That might have gone over.
No,
But if you're using Twilio, okay, yeah, that's a best practice so that you don't.
I didn't subscribe to Twilio yet. I was just curious as far as the broadcast groups, is that something you just did through the phone? Because I'm always afraid if I do a group text, it's going to go to the whole group as a group and not just individually.
So one of our coaches mentioned Reach is another app.
I like Reach.
Reach is coming from your phone number and no one else. It only goes to individual. It looks like it's only going to one person.
You have to click send every time. Like say, for instance, you're sending it to 30 people. You have to click send 30 times, but I'd rather that than a whoopsie. Now I will say Twilio is only going to send to them. It's just that Twilio has a little disclaimer that says unsubscribe. So to prevent that, yeah. And Sam, if you're in WhatsApp, that's kind of fine too. Just know too that if you guys get leads online and they ask you to use WhatsApp, usually that's spam.
Yeah.
Want to be clear with that. So if somebody's like fills a form on your website and is like, I want a 3-bedroom luxury home, you can text me on WhatsApp. That's probably spam. Okay. I'm not saying every time, but it's probably spam. All right, let's go into following up. Okay. Would love for, actually, Rachel, would you mind doing me the honors as the winner of that? Hopefully you're on here to unmute and read this for me. Putting you on the spot. Maybe not.
Okay, I can mute, but
okay. Yeah, can you read this for me?
The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them.
Oh, that's so good. What does that say to you guys? You can unmute or type it in the chat. Like, what does that mean to you?
What you put in is what you're going to get.
Yeah. And also, if you're putting in leads to generate them and you don't follow up with them, you're wasting your time and money. Like, so if you don't have a follow-up system in place, you're literally like throwing leads and, you know, let's be honest, $10,000, depending on your average price point, out the window every damn time, right? So you want to make sure that you need to convert those leads, follow up with those leads, if you're going to take the time to generate them in the first place. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so this is kind of what the process looks like. Remember, we have a funnel, right? So here's, you know, we're capturing it, we're connecting with them, creating a connection. You might have to continue, and then you're closing them. And then but after you close them though, the most important thing, let's be honest, is you are still continuing to cultivate, because you can turn your existing closed clients into what are called raving fans, or A clients, or in my world, rock stars, right? Like I call them rock stars in my world. If they've referred me somebody, they're a rock star. So you're still continuing to cultivate these relationships even after you've already built this, okay? Get on my page properly. So they talk to, you know, again, there's possible business, probable business, and then a profitable business. And so converting a lead to an appointment is your number one goal. So say, for instance, somebody fills out a form, they attend your open house, they come to your first time home buyer seminar, whatever it is, or, you know, you got a three-way text with your best friend and John Doe down the road that's about to sell, that's texting all three of you. However you're getting this lead, it is your job to practice conversion, to practice getting them to an appointment. The appointment is everything. Remember, do you guys remember those numbers at the very beginning? 72% of buyers only interview one agent, 82%, I think it was 73%, 82% of sellers only interview one agent. You got to get the appointment. My philosophy on that is get the appointment no matter what. Say, for instance, you have someone on the phone, I'll share a couple, like some of my favorite scripts for that. Is my first favorite script is, would a weekend or a weekday work best for you? You're not asking them a yes or no question. You're asking them an open-ended question where they have to answer a weekend or a weekday. You're not saying, would you like to get together and have an appointment? Because they could say no. You're saying, would a weekend or a weekday work best for you? Great, a weekday. And you can even say, you know, is a weeknight, you know, like would daytime or evening work best for you? Something like that. And then say, for instance, they answer, okay, a weekend. Love that, great. So Saturday I have an 11 a.m. or a 2 p.m. Which of those work for you? And there it is. And then you're like, okay, great. 2 p.m. I'm going to see you at 2 p.m. on Saturday at blank coffee shop. I'm a coffee shop girl. That's where I meet my clients. So at blank coffee shop. So I will see you then. And then what you do is you send them a calendar invite with the location to their email address and make sure that it has a notification on it so that you would never miss an appointment, because appointments are more important than pretty much anything else. Your appointments are like the biggest thing. You want to get a lead to an appointment converted to a contract. But there's no way to get a contract if you don't have an appointment. This is our biggest goal, is to get appointments. Like your goal literally, you know, if your lead generation time, your time block, your bunker is from 9 to 12 on, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, your only goal is how many appointments can I book during that time based on your goals, right? For the most part, in order to have something like 24 closings a year, you need to have at least 1 to 2 appointments a week. Does that sound too crazy? 1 to 2 appointments a week? Usually an hour appointment, maybe 90 minutes for 24 closings. It's not that bad, right? Sam's like, economic model. Yes, you read MREA. Perfect. So that's what you want to do. That's your big goal. All right. I'm going to skip that part because it was only one page. Now we're going to talk a little bit about converting, or I'm sorry, capturing. So we talked about open houses you can capture there. And remember, we want to talk about, we especially need their name, email, and phone number. Those are the top three. If we can get the address, we want that too, but that's your capturing. Whether they're filling out a form, whether you're chatting with them. Sometimes when I meet people in public, I'm like, hey, what's your Instagram? That's fine too. Like, just know that also try to get their email address. Yeah, you can totally use a spreadsheet. You can use Command, any which way. The best CRM is the one that you use. And then of course we're going to be, we're teaching you Command. So you can do a capture page from Command too, like a landing page for, say, an open house landing page, a property landing page. You can be like, hey, let me text you my app. Then they go on the app. It's connected to you. They have to put in their email address or the website in order to use it. So you're capturing them in a few different ways. A QR code is a great one. So you can do lead magnets from Command. Yeah. You can do, I also recommend a QR code that leads to either your app or your link tree or your website or whatever your main thing is. Okay. So do QR codes, and you can generate those for free in Canva. And you can also generate those on whenever you're doing postcards in Command, which I do postcards in Command. I send out my just listed and just sold postcards via Command, and you can add QR codes to those. And those go directly into your Command if somebody scans it. So that's a lead form. Cool. And then you can also have a for sale, like on your for sale sign, you can have a QR code or a phone number that they can text, anything like that. I don't put my email address on or even my website on my yard sign. I do a QR code and a phone number. I want them to be able to text me because that's easy. And I want them to be able to scan it if they feel like texting is too intimate, right? Whatever works for them. Those are the things that make the most sense to me. Somebody's either going to call me off a yard sign, text me off a yard sign, or scan a QR code. That's what they're going to do. So that's what I have on my yard sign. In addition to, of course, the stuff that we have to have in order to be compliant. Cool. All right. So conversation frameworks at this stage. See where we are with time. Okay. Yeah. So some of these is, if I were to contact you, what number? So this is, you can read these. Okay. But I want you to ask yourself these questions. These are framework questions. And I just want to share, like, this is one of the things that I do. I've been in sales since 2013. So one of the things that I do is I'm like, hey, jot down your email address. Or, hey, like, ooh, shoot me a quick text real quick and I'll get back to you on that. I don't say, can I please have your email address? I say, jot it down, shoot it over, something super chill and low key. Now, granted, that's my voice, but also it doesn't feel as salesy or as pressury if you're saying something like, can you please write down your email address? That's why I say jot down your email address. Or like, oh, what's your Insta? Something like that. So that you're then connecting with them, but you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel like it's like super low key and you're very like unattached to the outcome. Okay. And then, so whenever you're, once again, referring to page 138 in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, each of those models or like systems in that book on page 138, there's a whole playbook for. So actually, let me writing down playbooks. There's literally a playbook for open houses. And you go in and you do the thing that the playbook like says. So just know that all of the main lead generation sources, I want you to just pick 1 or 2 and get really freaking good at them. That's my thing. Do not pick 6 or 7. Nope. I don't even do 6 or 7 now. I do 2 really well and I teeter with a 3rd. And that does me enough. So I want you to get really freaking good at about 2 of them. Okay. How many? 2. Whenever you're super crazy, you're like approaching an MREA, a millionaire team, you can totally start to incorporate more like 5. Okay. Because you have leverage, you have an assistant, you have a marketing coordinator, you have a transaction coordinator, you have buyer's agents, right? But for now, I want you to get really good at 1 to 2 of them. My first one that I was really good at, coffee appointments with my girlfriends and happy hours at the time. I don't really do that as much anymore because that was just a little bit exhausting. And I like to be home before like 4 o'clock, if I'm being honest. So coffee is one of my top lead generation methods even to this day. And you might be like, Winnie, how in the world is coffee that? It is. I just go to coffee with my friends. I check in with them. And I go through that, Raquan, what we talked about before, that Ford framework, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. I'm like, yo, how's it going? And you can go through some of these things whenever you're but think about like if you're meeting somebody at an open house, you're going to have a little bit of different questions. You're going to say, hey, what brought you in today? Hey, do you have a house to sell? Hey, I would love to get your feedback on this house. And that's one of the things I do when I do an open house is I go like this and I'm like, hey, I'd love your feedback, good, bad, or ugly. And I hand them, I literally do this. It's like in their face. I'm like, here's the pen. Here's the thing. I do a paper form personally for open houses because I like it better. That's me. That's my personality. We each have our own. But I go like this and I stare at them until they take the pen and the clipboard. It's brilliant. It works every time, you guys. So that's my capture model. Okay. And you get to have your own capture model for everything. All right. Now the connect. This is where you get to talk about your value proposition. I would definitely suggest you can also work with ChatGPT to help determine your value proposition. You can tell it basically your resume and be like, hey, what are some of the unique value propositions that I get to extend to my clients? Maybe you're a former teacher or a current teacher, something like that, or medical professional or something in that realm, or bartender. I mean, bartenders crush real estate because they're good at listening to people, right? So find out what some of your unique value propositions are. Maybe you're somebody that is such an incredible interior designer. Not my gift, but I know how to take down the toilet and take down the wall because I flipped houses. So like think about those. And then you're going to, military is huge. Role play and practice these conversations. One of our jobs as a real estate agent is to practice these conversations. Why do you guys think that's so important? Unmute.
Well, you sound like you've done it more than once.
Becomes more comfortable.
Yeah, both of you guys said basically the same thing so that it rolls off your tongue, right? One of my favorite capture scripts, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. It's so dumb. It's perfect. I love that it works like almost every time. And to just drop in the conversation that I'm in real estate. You guys want to just drop in that you're in real estate sometimes, like super casually. So this is my favorite one. I go, I'm in real estate. So when my hair's down and I teach this, I usually flip my hair. I'm in real estate. So my car, I'm always in my car. I'm in real estate. So I have a flexible schedule. I'm in real estate. So I need new tires all the time. These are real. I'm in real estate. So I always forget to eat lunch, whatever it is, right? I'm in real estate, so I always am looking at houses. I'm in real estate, so I always have my laptop in the car with me. Any of these things. I'm in real estate, so that's one of my favorite scripts to just casually drop real estate in the conversation. And then they're going to be like, oh, you are? How's the market? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? You know what? Blah, blah, blah. I would love to get together with you. Let's grab coffee. It'd be so much fun. Would a weekend or weekday work better for you? Feel how natural that feels? Like super wasn't weird at all. I mean, I think at least. Sam.
I casually like to talk to random people, and one of the biggest secrets that I discovered for myself, obviously if everyone does it, but for myself speaking, is to find a way to squeeze in. So what do you do, bro? What do you do? Anyone. Because the moment
What do
they
you do?
answer, I've given myself the chance to say, "Oh, I'm a realtor, by the way," and then just open the whole conversation.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, you just casually mention it. So here are some connection questions. Who are they? And Raquan, this will help to your answer too, especially if these are kind of more cold leads, right? Who are they? What do they want to do? Do they need to buy, sell? Are they just curious? Do they just want to start learning, about the home buying process? Do they want to learn about, investing strategies? Do they want to do it or need to do it? Love that one. Why do they want to or need to do it? When do they want to do it? How do they plan on doing it? And so, I mean, really, like these are the kind of main things that you want to ask. And then the split second, say for instance, it is at an open house or you're in line at the grocery store with somebody, something like this, because I've totally gotten people's information at the grocery store. I'm not lying. Is then you would go through and I would quickly, and you can, if you guys have not downloaded the Command app yet, it is the red one. It's red with white KW lettering. It's called KW Command. Download that, because then what I want you to do after you have this conversation with this random person that you're totally going to forget in 5 minutes is add them into your database super quick. And I think AI will even in Command, it will, you can talk to it and add people. I just like to type it out because I'm like a weirdo if somebody spells something wrong. I don't like that. But just know that in Command, you can go ahead and add them to your database and add notes from your phone. So if you haven't downloaded that app, be sure and do that. Okay. So now, definitely, you can't predict what they're going to do, but you can systematically, automatically reconnect with them. That's what all we've been talking about, right? This 19 to convert, 1 to cement, 36 to connect, right? Or and to close. And then you want to keep them in your world forever. That's when you'll be able to close them to the appointment, right? So you want to close them to the appointment. So you might have to continue to cultivate, and then close to the appointment. Cultivate, and then close to the appointment. That's where that 7 to 10 times, once again, we have to go through that. And that's why too, depending on their personality type and depending on honestly their demographic, like their age and stuff, they might be better at text, email, phone call. So like, listen, does anybody in here prefer text over anything else? Totally. Now, this is always going to be shifting though. There's so much data around this. That's why I always call, text, and then email. Oh my gosh, Kathleen, that's so exciting. People are willing to help, right? Like that's what's the cool thing is like, if you're just asking for feedback and then now you're systematically touching them. Like you're doing the thing. You are systematically connecting with them. Amazing. Okay. I think we are cresting towards close. Okay. So I know we talked a little bit about, oh, look, it's funny. It's like I read this without clicking the button. So going through, just know that there's different ways. It's going to be based on different personalities, and that's okay. That's why for me, if I get a lead, like say for instance, a sign call, if they call and I wasn't able to answer or whatever, like I will call them back immediately. Or if somebody fills out a form on my website, I will call them immediately, text them basically while I'm calling them. Like they're on speakerphone and I'm texting them. Because speed to the lead is really important, especially if you're paying for leads. Like you want to be like super, super quick. And then going forward, part of my seller consultation or buyer consultation is I say, hey, what's your favorite way to be communicated with? And if somebody says, anyway, then you say, great, I love to mostly text for small things. And then I love to pick up the phone whenever it's something that we kind of need to work through or something that's a little bit of a bigger deal. Is that okay with you? Does that sound good with you? Great, yes. And that's how almost all my clients are. I have a couple clients that I call pretty much every time. And just it is what it is, right? So, and keep in mind too, that each of these, as you're going through, like I call them immediately and then text them. But when it comes to converting, which of these do you think is the least effective when it comes to converting?
Email.
Text.
Email.
It's pretty much either of those, depending on their personality. Which do you think is most effective?
In person.
In
Phone
person.
call and appointment, I guess.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely in person. Because we have mirror neurons. There's like science, right? We have psychology. Like, and we're like feeding off of people's energies. We're mirroring and matching, and we can sense somebody's energy. You can also trust people easier when you're in person because you can look into their eyes, you can feel their body language. So it's easier. That's why I want to bring people out of, so anytime I get like, say, a referral for a new client, it's a three-way text first. The person referring them to me, them, and me. And I book a phone call in that text. I'm like, great, I'm so excited. Let's get on a phone call. Do you have time tomorrow at 1? Or whatever. Or then I get them on a phone call. And then the phone call goal is to get them in person. I'm like, great. Well, let's snag coffee on Saturday and we can check out a couple houses, or I can just like walk you through the process. Or a Zoom if you can't, or a Zoom if you're too busy. But like that's how it goes, right? Cool. Sam?
Remember that thing you did with the book and the pen when they come to the open house? Do that again when face to face and we'll sign it up.
I know, right? I know, right? Awesome. Okay, so would love if someone wouldn't mind reading this for me.
I'll do it. In the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet. And if they don't, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do. You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense or it doesn't. Either way, you both win.
Exactly. We're not in the business of convincing people. You know what I mean? And here's the deal. If you have enough leads coming in, not every lead is going to be good enough for you. But if you only have 2 leads coming in a month, you have to take all of them. And so, but if you have 25 leads coming in a month or 200 leads coming in a month, then you're okay, And then the other thing too is that remember, your job is not like, yes, we want to book the appointment, but your job is to follow up. That's what's called a leading indicator. You led with them following up. Whether or not they booked an appointment and bought or sold a house with you, that's the result. We have to focus on the activity that we are doing, which is the leading indicator, what we can control. If we are asking them for the appointment, if we are texting them, if we are calling them, right? If we are doing these things, if we are doing the activity that we know we need to do in order to lead generate, then we've done our job. And then the rest is up to them to do, right? And obviously we want to build trust, build rapport, all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. Okay, Chris. What do you suggest dual career agents do to lead gen? Sorry. I would say personally, I wouldn't do like anything crazy. Yeah, I do call during lunch. Absolutely. I do a lot of phone calls on my way home or on my way home from work or on my way into work. So those are some of the times that I would do that. But really what I do is I just text them to make the phone call appointment. I literally am like, "Hey, do you have some time to chat tomorrow?" Like my texts are very short and they are to set up a phone call or to set up a coffee appointment.
So you don't call them out of the blue? You text first?
I usually don't, but that's based on my sphere. Like if I called out of the blue, people would be like, "What? Like, are you dead? Is everything okay? Are you in jail?"
An emergency.
Right, right. So I do, obviously I do have some people that, yeah, I would just call and be like, "Yo, girl, do you want to get coffee next week?" I literally say that. I know it sounds really informal, but that's my people, right? So that's one of the things I love about real estate is that we really do get to do this in a way that feels super genuine to us. Yeah, you need to be disciplined and structured, but at the end of the day, you can do it in a way that feels really natural.
I would like to add here, with my experience doing other business and generating clients and doing customer services follow up later, I would say try to commit to your business, to this new career, obviously, and carve some time throughout your day. So do it throughout lunch if you can, at least 2 calls. Start with one, see how it goes, how long it takes, right? Obviously, but if you can squeeze 2-3 calls, that's actually going to be great. 5 days, that's 15 calls a month.
Better than
That's 60
zero.
calls. That's a lot better. And then that's a good advice with texting. So you can call out of the blue during lunch, but I would text in the evening.
You
More
can text like 20 people.
yeah,
like
you can text to
style.
kind of pre-plan, right? Text tonight to propose a phone call for tomorrow. So tomorrow you don't call out of the blue now, but maybe you're gonna call somebody for an appointment. Hey, we haven't been talking for a while, and I'm doing this, or I would like to reconnect. Do you have time for a 5-minute call tomorrow? Can we go out for coffee? And maybe you just go see somebody during your lunch. And now you're actually making an appointment, or you're kind of touching softly and then meeting in person.
Exactly.
It's kind of a hook to get people
Yeah, it's
out.
like they need, especially in today's society, it's almost like we need that prep. We need that because some people get anxiety when the phone rings. So we're preventing that kind of like phone anxiety. Yeah. So, and then also to your point, time block, we're using systems and conversations, right? Conversations, scripts. I mean, it's conversations, but and then connect with your entire database using that 36 touch or 19 to convert. And then you're going to begin to prioritize those qualified leads and, follow up with them more consistently, maybe multi-prong approach, the telephone call, in person, text, emails, all that kind of stuff. But that's why you want to time block to set up your systems in the first place. And time block to actually do the work that you need to do to provide them with what they needed. Like say, for instance, they wanted a home equity analysis. You need a time block to when you're doing that. And if you're not on appointments, your job is to book an appointment. And then whenever you can't book appointments, because it's late or early or something, that's when you're setting up your systems. So cool. This is recorded, so I know they're going to send this out. I know I'm running a little bit late. It happens all the time. I can be a little bit long-winded. Okay. But let me just close this out real quick. And then I want you guys to stick around because I need you guys to fill out that little form again one more time. It's going to be so easy, I promise. But right now, so once again, this is the lead conversion model. You're getting the information that you need, the phone number, the email, etc. Then you're connecting with them so that you actually know what they need when they need it. Then you're continuing to cultivate that relationship until you are able to convert and close to the appointment. It really isn't rocket science in terms of your job, as a real estate agent. So All right, I'm gonna stop sharing real quick, but I would love to hear what is the one thing based on this section of following up with leads specifically, that you guys are going to do. And then also I'm putting this link in here again. I want you to fill it out again. You're like, Winnie, I already filled it out. I know. Fill it out again, please, and thank you. It means a lot. Working towards the master faculty. And so they need to know that I know how to teach all of the content. So that's what this is about. And for this section, it is session 11, follow up with leads. Session 11, follow up with leads. So if you will fill out this survey again, and then, okay. And then, thank you. So Rachel is going to get her emails set up with Command. Yeah, accidentally dial the phone. That's hilarious, Chris. No, this phone is terrifying. That's why I always text first. And I'm like, hey, do you have time for a quick chat? Even if it needs to be. I love that, Kathleen. Like, I'm in real estate, so that's literally what I do like every time. I'm in real estate, so yeah, just get the ball rolling. Time block for your follow-up. Yes, for your ride home. That is totally what I am on the phone my entire ride home. Like it's just part of the process. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of times I'm in traffic anyway, so who cares? So that's what I do. Time block, absolutely. Absolutely. What else? What is one thing that you guys are going to do based on this?
And Winnie?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate for all this information, and you made it very simple because my clients come from my sphere of influence as well.
Yep.
And just talking being natural, this is what I really connected with you. And thank you so much for making it so simple, saying just be authentic yourself. And also simplify. Don't go overboard. For my aha moment was just don't complicate it. Just take one or two approaches and work on it.
Yes, that is huge. That's huge, huge, huge. On page 138 in MREA, do 1 to 2 of them and get so freaking good at doing those 2 things.
And thank you. I would love to connect with you personally as well. And I thank you for the energy as well.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, you guys know how to reach me. You guys have my phone number, email. Do you guys want me to put it back in there again? Okay. There's that. 961-648. And I do have a real estate marketing company and I do run branding boot camps. So if you guys have questions about branding and all that kind of stuff, just please reach out to me. I do little free consults, all that kind of stuff. And if you want your office to book me, tell them to book me. And I'll come and teach 6 personal perspectives. I'll teach my branding class or whatever you guys want to learn. Because I love teaching. I love traveling to teach. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. And I know that I am going to be around some of your cities in the next few weeks, especially. I'm going to be in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Chicago, Dallas, Waynesville, which is near Asheville. So those are some of the ones that I have booked. So hopefully I can see you guys. Yes, I can definitely come into Wilmington. I love Carly Meeks is my girl there. In Raleigh, I think that one might be in September. DC, I would love to go to DC. My best friend lives there. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Did you say you're going to be in Chicago May 29, May 30?
Yes.
Okay. And where will we find out about that event?
That is the KWYP Summit.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yep. It is. Yeah, if you literally look up KWYP Summit 2025, you can pull that information up. I just got it for you. Is my best friend a realtor?
Sam, you will be able to do this in 2 years. There are so many tools now, so much knowledge. Look at all these mentors and trainers sharing their experience. We have now more than what they had. So You can do it. I trust you.
Appreciate the words, my
Marsha, we'd
friend.
love to hear from you. If anybody needs to go, I do want to honor your time. Thank you guys so much for staying a little bit late with me. But if you do need to go, please feel free. Marsha, I would love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned a book in the beginning.
3
I didn't
Feet
get
from
a
Gold.
chance. Say that again, please.
3 Feet from Gold.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And thank you for all the good training.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yes, I got your text, Rachel. We're going to set up that branding consult. That's awesome. My best friend is not a realtor in DC. So, great question. 5 stars. Woo woo.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys so much. Well, enjoy the rest of y'all's night. If I can help with anything, please reach out. I'm very Googleable. I'm very easy to get in touch with. And like I said, this business, this industry, and this company changed my life. I want to be really clear. That's why I volunteer to do this, because it has changed everything, like my trajectory, my vision, my mindset, for what is possible. And it's really important to me. Oh, Kathleen, text me. I'll tell you everything. It's really important to me to pay it forward. And I do hope that you guys, whenever you guys are feeling really, like you have some of that confidence, that you also know that you have every virtue to pay it forward as well. Thank you guys. All right.
Thank you, Winnie. Thank you.
Amazing, guys. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
See ya. Good
Bye.
night. Bye, guys.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.